Apple just made a huge announcement that no one saw coming. Apple CEO Tim Cook on Wednesday unveiled a series of major projects and investments under the banner of the iPhone maker's previously announced Racial Equity and Justice Initiative. Hello and welcome to The Ordeal. If you're new to my channel, I challenge all things woke. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you watch my video to the very end. That is the #1 metric that YouTube uses to promote my videos. If you can't stand watching my video, you're like, I just got to turn it off. I can't watch it till the end. That's fine. Go down in the comments. Let me know what I can do to improve the quality of my videos, keep you around longer. Let's see what else they have to say here. The company first announced the Racial Justice Initiative back in the summer in the wake of the killing and subsequent protests, you mean riots, over the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and others. Yeah, sure they worried about all the white people that were shot over the spring of 2020. Apple's investments include a developer academy as well as a venture funding for companies led by minority entrepreneurs. Yeah, that's great. Apple CEO Tim Cook kicked off his 10th year as the iPhone maker CEO by announcing several big donations as part of the company's previously unveiled Racial Equity and Justice Initiative, an effort that includes Apple launching an Apple Developer Academy to teach coding to students in Detroit. Apple is also launching new venture capital funding for Black and brown entrepreneurs. Only Black and brown, though, you know. That sounds that might be kind of illegal, maybe a little bit. Well, I don't think that it is, but there might be a case there if you want to, go after Apple. Additionally, this effort includes a $25 million gift to the Propel Center, which Apple describes as a first-of-its-kind global innovation and learning hub for historically Black colleges and universities, all of which is part and parcel of Cook having spent much of his time leading Apple by increasingly trying to position the company as a force for societal change beyond it being merely a fantastically successful technology giant, and for proof that Cook's philosophy is sinking in among customers. Ahead of Wednesday's announcement, people were guessing that today's news might be something along the lines of turning Apple stores into coronavirus vaccine centers. I don't understand what the correlation is there. Okay. Going woke and having vaccine centers. Okay. Okay. We are all accountable for the urgent work of building a more just, more equitable world. And these new projects send a clear signal of Apple's enduring commitment, Cook said in a press release that unveiled Wednesday's news. We're launching Reggie, latest initiatives with partners across a broad range of industries and backgrounds, from students to teachers, developers to entrepreneurs and community organizers to justice advocates, working together to empower communities that have borne the brunt of discrimination for far too long. Yeah, that's prove that. I mean, don't listen to the mainstream media. You actually have to bring proof, because the mainstream media can say anything it wants to. Anybody can go onto the mainstream media and say whatever they want. It's not rocket science. I can say I have a unicorn living under my bed. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that it's true. And just because a million people say, "Hey, look, the guy from The Ordeal, he has a unicorn living under his bed," doesn't mean that it's true either. We are honored to help bring this vision to bear and to match our words and actions to the values of equity and inclusion we have always prized at Apple. Tim Cook, you look like you're pretty dang white there. Why don't you go ahead and give up your position to, say, a Black trans woman? What do you say you do that? Would that be equity? This whole notion of equity means that people who aren't white should be equal to people who are white. Well, I'm not even equal to people who are white. So stop. I mean, what kind of advantage do I have in society? I've never seen any advantage that I get. You're like, oh, you just don't see it. Yeah. I grew up in a poor neighborhood around people who are not white. We all had pretty much the same thing. In fact, I had one of the smallest houses in the neighborhood, so don't even start with me. Apple's Racial Equity and Justice Initiative is taking 3 big steps supporting the Propel Center, a global innovation and learning hub for HBCUs. I don't know what HBCUs are. Our first developer academy in the U.S. in Detroit, and funding to accelerate minority-owned businesses. Well, if you want to build Detroit back up, that's fine. But if you're only going there to go, hey, look, here's money for people who aren't white, that's kind of not cool. Apple, but I don't like Apple anyway. If you're using Apple products, stop. I mean, PCs are way better. I don't understand how Apple fooled the world into believing that PCs were inferior to their products. It's just not true. Apple initially announced the Racial Equity and Justice Initiative back in the summer in the wake of protests around the world following the killings of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and others. Choosing to lead this important work with Lisa Jackson, Apple's Vice President of Environment, Policy, and Social Initiatives. Further details about today's announcement include the Apple Developer Academy is expected to open in Detroit later this year through a partnership with Michigan State University, and the Academy, which Apple expects to serve about 1,000 students each year, will offer students 2 projects, a 30-day intro program course and a deeper program that lasts up to a year. Additionally, Apple has pledged to invest $10 million with Harlem Capital, an early-stage New York venture capital firm, with the goal of funding 1,000 companies led by diverse founders over the next 2 decades. Apple said it will also invest $25 million in Siebert Williams Shank's Clear Vision Impact Fund. Okay, that's not a mouthful at all. Which provides capital to small and medium-sized businesses and which has an emphasis on minority-owned companies. Just what we need. Heaven forbid you should support people of all backgrounds equally. You just here's the fund. Anybody who qualifies can take it. I mean, just have qualifying businesses get it. Don't look at the names or the backgrounds of the people. Just look at the business. Finally, Apple on Wednesday also announced a $25 million donation to launch the Propel Center from Apple's announcement. Apple's gift will enable the Propel Center to support HBCU students and faculty through a robust virtual platform, a physical campus in the historic Atlanta University Center, as well as on-campus activations at partner institutions. According to the Atlanta Business Chronicle, the Propel Center's physical campus will be located in Atlanta at the Atlanta University Center, which is a consortium made up of Clark Atlanta University, Morehouse College, Morehouse School of Medicine, Morehouse Brown, and Spelman College. So, a whole lot of let's give the money to minorities, what are considered minorities, even though they're not the minorities in real world. There's more of them than there are of whites. But what do I know, right? I'm just some schmuck on the internet. Well, and you might be thinking this is like, oh, Apple's a private company. They can do whatever they want to with their money. You're right, they can. You are 100% right. This is all code for woke. This is all code for woke. And what is woke? Woke is saying that white people have too much and they need to have less. So we'll get whatever we can to people who aren't white any way we can. In other words, we're coming after whites. This is just one more nail in the coffin of that process. And like I said, but my private company. Well, what about this right here? Newsom to Californians. Let's face it, we're never getting back to normal. And you may be thinking, well, what does this have to do with wokeness? You challenge things that are woke, and Gavin Newsom is just saying, hey, we can't get back to normal regarding the COVID situation. Let's see what he has to say. That's a great message to send to the restive electorate after a year of fumbling the response to the virus. Gavin Newsom tried to get cute in his State of the State speech from an empty Dodger Stadium, pledging to deliver a new and improved normal. But it fell as flat as Walt Newsom's entire gubernatorial career. Small wonder Californians want to push him out of office before the end of his term via an upcoming recall. Yes, I have seen the people out asking to sign the petition to recall Gavin Newsom, and he does need to be recalled. And this article is going to prove it to you right here. Governor Gavin Newsom will say during his State of the State address that the pandemic will end soon, but when it does, Newsom will say that we're not going back to normal because normal accepts inequity. And the word equity is code for woke. Inequity means, hey, you're not woke. So he wants to basically take as much as he can away from white people and give it to people who aren't white. But you know what, Gavin Newsom? Last time I checked, you have blue eyes, light skin. Why don't you give up your governor position to, say, an immigrant trans black woman who's disabled? I think that's what you should do. I mean, that would be the woke thing to do. That would be the honorable thing to do. That would be the equitable thing to do. You should do that. You should totally do that. Why is it that we have these white people telling us that white people are no good? What the heck is wrong with you people that you would think that that's an all right thing to say? That is not an all right thing to say. How dare you? How dare you can stand up and you can look at me and say, you have too much. I don't have anything. I don't have a thing. All right? I rent. Oh, I have a computer. Who can't afford a computer today? I mean, are you homeless? Oh, you're not homeless? Well, then you can probably afford a computer. Most people can get access to a computer. Most people have a computer right in their pocket on their phone. That's according to an excerpt from Newsom's speech that the governor's office released Tuesday. The Democratic governor is scheduled to deliver the address at Dodger Stadium as he faces a likely recall election later this year, fueled by widespread anger over his handling of the lockdowns here. The governor further explained his comment that normal accept inequity by elaborating that inequity was the reason Latinos were dying from the virus at a higher rate over any other race or ethnic group in the state, why the poor wages of essential workers are not enough to live on, and why the state has seen mothers leave the workforce in dramatic numbers. No, no, and no. All right. Hispanic people, I've lived in California for, what is it now? Almost 14 years? Over 14 years. And the Hispanic people don't want to go along with the program. They want to do things their way. They think they know a better way than how we do things in this country. That's just been my experience with it, dealing with it. They know best, and white people are wrong. I mean, I don't think all of them feel that way, but that's what I come across generally how they feel. Okay? That's 14 years of experience living in a state where white people are the minority and Hispanic people are the majority. Well, white people aren't the biggest minority, but there are fewer white people than there are Hispanic people in the state. Now, as far as the wages are concerned, well, that's all because you guys don't know how to manage the state. You jack up the prices of housing. I believe what people are paying for a one-bedroom. They're paying like over $1,700 a month to rent a one-bedroom apartment. It's ridiculous. You know, that's not like, oh my God, that's the fanciest one-bedroom apartment. No, that's like a low-end one-bedroom apartment. Now, paying your workers a living wage should go a long way if we could somehow lower the cost of housing, if you could reduce the taxes in the state, if you could, I don't know, lower the cost of gas. There's oil rigs out. I look out over the ocean, I see oil rigs off the coast of California, yet we pay more for gas here in California. What's that all about? Yeah, the homeless problem in the state is because the politicians can make money off of it. It's all a money grab. We could end these problems. There's tried and true methods of solving these problems, but the politicians don't want them because they're happy with the way things are, and they believe this myth that if you try to manipulate housing, it's just gonna put more money in the pockets of the people that own housing and all that stuff. And it's like, well, if you allow for more housing, the cost will come down. There's barely enough housing to go around in the state of California. That's the problem. And he's sitting here saying that, he wants to do it for the state. This is not a private company. This is the state. This is who I vote for. These are the people I vote for. I didn't vote for Gavin Newsom, but these are the people I vote for. So this is just more woke garbage that needs to be rooted out in our culture. It's everywhere, and it's got to stop. Period. We got to stop with the wokeness. We gotta get back to freedom of speech. No more of this woke garbage, because hey, it's coming after you. If you're white, it's coming for you. And even if you're not white, it's coming for you. One way or another, it's going to bite you in the butt. One way or another, it's going to get you. So if you are white, say something about it. Tweet about it, Facebook about it, YouTube, whatever you got to do, stand up to it, because we all know that it's wrong. This is just racism against white people. That's all that it is. That's all it is. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Again, like, comment, share, and I will see you all next time.